So we're in the middle of something called the bomb cyclone weather event. Not clear to come up with that name or what it means, but here we are. It sent temperatures plunging all over this country. The severe cold has prompted assertions that it is the product of global warming. Claims like that are a recurring theme in American life in recent years.
The speed that climate change is happening is caused by humans. Instead of happening on timescales of millions of years, or let's say 15,000 years, it's happening on the timescale of decades and now years.
Should have mentioned climate change as a national security threat, because it is.
Why then is the Arctic ice shelf melting? Why are the sea levels rising? Why are the hottest temperatures in the last decade essentially the hottest temperatures that we've seen on record?
It does seem like climate change is happening faster than we thought in some ways. It seems societally that maybe we're more vulnerable than we thought.
The entire North Polar ice cap during some of the summer months could be completely ice-free within the next 5 to 7 years.
So in case you're keeping track at home, low temperatures are proof of global warming. So are high temperatures, heat waves. Also hurricanes are, but droughts are too. So hot or cold, wet or dry, all of it is proof that human activity is making the climate hotter. The question is there any weather phenomenon that doesn't prove global warming? Josh Fox follows this carefully. He's a documentary director and environmental activist, and he joins us. Josh, thanks for coming on.
Tucker, it's great to be on again with you.
Thank you.
You said everything that you just said was true. That was amazing. You had like a whole run there.
Let me just say at the outset, I'm not here to debate you. I don't really know what my position is. I'm open-minded because I believe in science, and I think that evidence ought to lead to conclusion, not the other way around.
That's miraculous.
But why wouldn't I be a little bit confused if people say that hot temperatures are a sign of global warming? Now they're saying cold temperatures are, wet conditions are, but also dry conditions. How can that all be true?
Again, you're not really stating it correctly. I think what people are saying about the bomb cyclone is it is a similar weather event to a hurricane, which is true. What climate change does as a result of warming is it increases the extreme weather events, right? Extreme cold, extreme hot. But in this case, we're talking about extreme storms, right? Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Harvey. These were unprecedented and incredibly disastrous events in terms of the climate, and this bomb cyclone is very similar. Now, in the scientific terms,
hold on, just to stop. And I just want to make sure I have this right. And I want to make it clear, you're not a scientist, so be sure not to patronize me. Just give me a straight answer. I was told for the last 15 years that global warming, its main result was higher temperatures. So can you see why I'd be confused?
We are seeing higher temperatures.
So, but if this turns out to be an unusually cold year, and it looks like it may, how can that also be?
It's cold in New York. It's cold in New York. You're in New York. I'm in Louisiana. And in fact, yesterday I was in St. Thomas where it was 80 degrees. And that's the point. The hurricanes and the cyclones start with a warming Atlantic. When the Atlantic Ocean is warmer, it evaporates more water into the air. When you have more water in the air, more water comes down. So you saw this huge deluge with Harvey. You saw all of this wind and rain with Irma and Maria, and now you're seeing huge amounts of snow because of the warming temperature in the Caribbean.
Wait, but I'm confused.
You know that these storms come up from Florida, right? We know that, right?
But it was just, I'm not sure what we know.
I'm explaining to you the science. Now, you asked me about science, right? So I'm explaining to you the science.
I don't know how much you know about science, and I know that I don't know much about science.
I have a map right here of the whole world temperatures, right? Now, you see the blue right there, that's North America. That means it's colder than average. But if you look at the rest of the planet, it's warmer than average. That means when you talk about global warming, you look at the entire globe.
Okay,
not just New York City. When it's like, you can say, I live in New York City, so it's colder in New York City. That's not an argument. That's why we keep records. That's why the Farmer's Almanac keeps track.
I get it, but let me just ask you a question. You're filibustering because I think you're fearful of answering a straightforward question. And so here's one. So it was 4 years ago, the New York Times, in a piece that I remember reading, predicted, and I'm quoting, the death of snow because of global warming. Global warming was going to end snow in the United States. Then 3 years later, we had record snows. That was last winter, and they said another effect of global warming. During that same period, they wrote a piece saying that the overabundance of ice in Antarctica was a sign of global warming, and then 3 years later they say a lack of ice is a result of global warming.
First of all, what you're saying is absolutely not true.
Well, it is true. I can cite it right here.
It's not true, Tucker. It's not true. And listen, let me tell you something.
Well, what's
the
not
reason
true
why
about
I care about? Can I tell you the reason why I care about this?
No. I want to get specific. I don't want to get general.
I just spent the entire Christmas holiday on St. Thomas, which is a town that was an island that was completely ravaged by Hurricane Maria and Irma. There are people who have no electricity. There are people who have no home. There are people who lost loved ones.
You're eliding over
and
my question.
The reason why people care about climate change.
You're making a general statement. I want to be very specific.
Your question is nonsensical, Tucker. Your question has no basis in science. You're saying, oh, well, we have one article here and one article there. What I'm trying to point to you are
the same people are making contradictory claims.
Global climate records. And the reason why I'm on your program right now is because over this last decade, I've been exploring fracking and exploring and investigating climate change. Why? Because I don't want people's children in harm's way. I don't want our military in harm's way.
Now you're making
James Mattis,
what you're doing is calling attention to your own moral virtue. You've departed science. I'm asking you specific questions.
In the Trump administration,
all of you guys immediately go when asked a simple question. You go to, I'm a good person. I care.
Like I asked you the last time, do you understand the science behind climate change? Do you understand?
It's too frustrating. Thank you. Tried to get an answer. Couldn't. Well, the hits keep coming for the NFL. Ratings are down. Players are kneeling. Concussions are scaring more people than ever. Now, Barstool Sports, honestly, one of the best sites on the entire internet, is suing the NFL for stealing a slogan. We are honored to have the head of Barstool, Dave Portnoy, here next.